Hey tubesters, this is RN4 song The Bougie Mystic. And this is the now third time I've tried recording the audio to this video. This was originally a live stream on Instagram. It's still there if you want to watch it, but I think I was also given this as a suggestion to like condense the video and share it with y'all, but I kind of also was thinking about doing it anyway. Anyway, long story short, this is me doing the voiceover to this condensed version of a live stream. If you want to watch the whole thing, you can. You don't really see me talk much in this footage because, just because it's no one really comes in the first like sometimes 30 minutes of my IG live streams. I think it's because I'm just not really consistent with posting, so I don't really have a lot of influence or what have you when it comes to the algorithm. Anyway, what I've just added is. Oh, I should probably let you know, I just woke up, so my voice may be a little scratchy and all that. So sorry, but I'm determined to try and get this this one done so I can upload the video and call it a day. So you're also gonna see me mixing all this stuff a first time and then mixing it a second time. So I'm just gonna go over the ingredients roughly in order, and then I'm going to once I'm done with the first batch, or once by the time I do that, the first batch should be made, and then I'm just gonna go into why I'm using it. So what you just see me add is some Celtic sea salt and the I believe it's technically cemetery dirt because graveyards are attached to churches. So and the way I'm holding the phone, I'm not actually paying that much attention to the recording because I've literally seen it so many times while I've been trying to record this audio. Every time it's interrupting me because someone's called me and it messes up me recording and I have to like exit out of the app. I can't even like backspace or anything like that. And then I have to like, and clearly it doesn't save. And so then I have to like re-record the whole audio again. It's so frustrating. But anyway, I've added the Celtic sea salt for, that was just the salt I had gotten on hand. I literally just got it from a friend. We split a bag of salt and I was like, oh, that's awesome. It was the last ingredient I needed. And it's for basically the healing and like absorbing toxins and things of that nature. I also enchant in between the ingredients, as you've been seeing. So I also added the cemetery dirt, and that's for calling in the death current, and putting things to rest and putting things to death that I really just don't need anymore and I want to get rid of. And then you saw me add the first thing after the death dirt, or after, excuse me, after the cemetery dirt was the gravestone dust. This was, I think, a free gift when I ordered the witch's graveyard dirt, which was what you saw just before this, and just after the, and it was the second little jar after the cemetery dirt. And it was I think it said witch's graveyard dirt. I think that's what it was labeled as. And this comes from a real grave site, a real witch's grave site in the Ozark, in Missouri, right? And then the last thing I added, or this past thing that I just added, was ancestral ashes. So the witch's graveyard dirt and the ancestral ashes, or actually the gravestone dust, excuse me, is for invoking spirits. That's what I used it for, and I think it's really good for spirits of the dead, specifically just because it's gravestone dust. So I put that in there and enchanted it for that. The witch's graveyard dirt is for the spirits of faith. This may be known by y'all as the mighty dead. And then the ancestral ashes is used for spirits of the family or the bloodline ancestors, right? You've probably heard me mention this before. This would also be called the beloved dead. I just want them to come and bless this work and also guide me when I use it in ritual. And then I just added some eggshells, and that is for the sense of security you get with that gentle, warm, and comforting protection. A lot of times eggshells are good for like the home and stuff like that, but I wanted to bring that same sense of home protection, so that way I would, even though it's outside of the home, I wanted to bring that so that way I could feel safe and vulnerable, because that's what I need to do when using this Mule Penano chick in ritual. I just added some protection oil, and you also see me add, if I haven't already, the death potion. I don't enchant those because they're pretty much already enchanted ingredients. For one, they are already enchanted, so there's really no need to do that. But it really just kind of like enhances and pulls on those properties that I've already enchanted the previous ingredients with. And then this is periwinkle. Periwinkle is really good for a gentle and loving but potent protection, specifically with spirits of the dead. So when you're opening the door to the spirit world, it's really good to use protection. I think everybody knows this at this point, but something I've noticed is that people will go a little overboard with their protection. They'll just do like specific circles of protection, or lay out candles, like 4 candles or crystals for protection. And I'm just like, you're doing all these layers of protection, or sometimes using like very strong, oh bless me, excuse me, really strong ingredients or potent ingredients, adverse, like that are adverse to spirits or whatever, for protection. And that's just a real slap in the face. At that point, it's like, what's the point of working with the spirits if you're not willing to take the risk? You know, because if you're going to work with spirits, there's always going to be a risk. If you're not willing to take the risk, if you're that scared that you're doing this many layers of protection, what's the point of working with spirits? So I find that periwinkle is the best option when working with spirits. It's very effective, but it doesn't slap them in the face. It doesn't make them feel disrespected, like how I just explained it, you know? So I always add that in my death potion. It's going to be in this death dirt. Anything and everything that I use when working with spirits, I'll add some periwinkle. And you just saw me add in some chamomile. That is for solace of soul. I also add some lavender for peace of mind. Those are, again, for what I mentioned earlier, just bringing some solace of soul and peace of mind, so that way I feel comfortable to be vulnerable and to really delve deep into unpleasant parts of myself, of my history, of my past, maybe of my ancestors, anything of that nature. So I just want to make sure that you are being fully vulnerable and honest, and exposing and like gut-wrenchingly honest. That's what this dirt is really going to be used for. So I'm just doing that to kind of create that safe space, kind of add on to the eggshells for me. So some ingredients like the eggshells and the ancestral ashes and dirt, and obviously the gravestone dust for those ashes and dirt, and then the chamomile and lavender. Those are specifically for me. Those are herbs for me specifically that help me in with the use of this dirt. And then the salt, I guess, kind of is for me as well, but it's also for the intention of this dirt. And then the cemetery dirt is specifically for the intentions as well. And I believe that's all that I add to this mix. So now I'm just going to what I did forget to mention, but you've kind of already seen at this point, is I was enchanting in between in each ingredient, and it really like layered the magic and the I guess you could just say like the energy from the magic in this mixture, and it was so awesome. And you see later my facial expression when I'm holding the jar, and how I just really love it. I think I even like stroke the jar a little bit because it feels so good. It's exactly what I wanted to craft. Um, I, I've been wanting to make something like this for a while to use in like, basically you can use this for enshadowments. And that's just what my term is for shadow work, to kind of balance out with the term enlightenment. So when I do an enshadowment, it's basically shadow work. In case you are new to the channel or maybe you've forgotten, but those of you who've followed me for years now, you know I've been saying that word for the whole time pretty much. Um, but yeah, I really wanted something to kind of like enhance the ritual, and really just make it feel more potent, make it more effective. And sometimes just dig deeper. Sometimes you just want to dig deeper, and really like make a leaps and bounds type of impression and experience with your shadow work. And that's what this is for. I don't know if I show y'all, but I do actually, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw me make a post of my black obsidian carved frog. This carved crystal frog, I could tell from the picture, but when I got it, it was another one of those like you just have to like stroke it and keep holding it because it just feels so awesome. It's one of those tools. So I do use that when making or when using, excuse me, this mixture. I use it as a guide. It's an emotional guide. I use frog spirit and toad spirit a little differently. Maybe I'll make a video talking about that. I just want to write down my thoughts so that way they're a little more cohesive when sharing them. But I also want to stay on topic, so I don't want to talk about frog and toad spirit because I feel like it's just going to be a long tangent. But frog spirit is really good in this ritual. I have used this once already, and it was really good. I also used this like I think it was just called like woods incense. It's a little different from the one that I normally get, but it was really good. I like to use a very woodsy smelling incense, so that way it smells like I'm in the woods. So I was by the ocean, so I heard some of the ocean sounds. There was crickets, so I heard those, and then the smell of the woodsy incense. I just very easily went into that ritual headspace. And I used it for digging into the deep recesses of my mind and all that. That really, I'm trying to remember what I actually discovered. I don't remember, but I did discover a frog spirit, so I'm gonna look into that and see if they have a name. Are they a recurring spirit? I do think they're connected to the black obsidian frog because it was first visually the black frog jumping around and leading me to this first the quicksand, and then the frog spirit became like a humanoid frog spirit, and they pulled me out of the quicksand, and then we were at like this like, it wasn't a swamp per se, but there was a creek, and they kind of like washed me off in the creek, and I woke up later and I realized I was cleaned up and all that. And it was a really cool experience, and we were talking and everything like that. And I don't remember right now what we talked about. I did journal it, so I have it written in what I call my book of skeletons, which I use for all types of enshadowments, kind of like pulling on the phrase skeletons in the closet. It's kind of pulling on that, so you're more than welcome to use that for yourself. Oh, I ran out of time. As always, thank you for watching. Abundant Eternal Blessing. Mwah.